Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and this boycott of Bud Light has turned more horrific than anyone at Anheuser Busch could have ever imagined in their worst nightmares. And guess what? It just went from bad to worse. You're not going to want to miss this. The nationwide consumer backlash against Bud Light's transgender advocacy campaign continues to grow, punishing the beer company with dramatic declines in sales. We reported earlier that parent company Anheuser Busch has lost more than $6 billion in just 6 days. In 6 days, their market value dropped from $132.4 billion to $125.7 billion, a loss of $6.7 billion. Reports are coming in by the boatloads that bars across the nation refusing to serve Bud Light or seeing sales drop dramatically among their customers. One Twitter handle shared this. I talked to the Bud Light beer salesman at the store today. He shared that he has never seen such non-movement of their products in his 15 years. Even in rural communities, no product is being sold. The cooler was completely full of Bud products. Not one case was sold since yesterday at this particular food city. Please tell me rural America has no voice. Anheuser Busch better get the message, and fast. Another posted this image of Anheuser Busch products completely untouched as compared to their competitors who are getting bought up left and right. In fact, their closest competitor, Coors Beer, so their stocks surged by nearly 10% in the midst of Bud Light's marketing fiasco. There are some reports that sales for Anheuser-Busch products have been slashed in half over the last couple of weeks. Again, we'll have to wait for the quarterly numbers to come on out. They'll be released sometime in July. But even restaurants are getting into the mix here. For example, one restaurant in Central Florida publicly announced they would officially stop serving Bud Light to their customers. And they, of course, have the backing of Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis. He's publicly denounced the trans activist campaign, said he'll no longer be purchasing Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch products. Now, in addition to the sales drop, we now have our first polls coming out on this. According to Rasmussen, 54% of those surveyed support the boycott of Anheuser-Busch. And then when you break the numbers down, it gets even more interesting. When asked if Bud Light's promotion of trans activism makes you more likely or less likely to purchase Bud Light, overall, 40% said less likely, only 19% said more likely. So right there, you have a marketing disaster, right? Your new customers are eclipsed by your leaving customers by a factor of 2 to 1. But look at the age group of 40 to 64-year-olds. 53% said that the trans campaign made them less likely to buy. Only 12% said more likely. I mean, that's the demographic that's animating this backlash. That's the Kid Rock demographic. The working class demographic that's making it clear in no uncertain terms that if you want to go woke, hey, that's your business, but stay the hell out of mine. And this is what Joe Rogan and some others simply don't get. I think for the vast majority of working class Americans, they join Rogan on it. Hey, if Disney wants to go woke, go ahead. I don't care. If Netflix wants to go woke, go ahead. It doesn't affect me. If Nike wants to go woke, go ahead. I don't care. What happened here is that wokeness invaded working class territory. Wokeness did not honor the space that working class Americans gave it. And now it's trying to impose itself on what little territory, what little material conditions that mid-America, working class folk have to call their own. And that's why I think we're seeing this massive, utterly massive backlash. It's basically one gigantic, get the hell off my property. Get out and stay out. And so now the question is whether Anheuser-Busch is going to be able to recover from this. I don't know if they can. I really don't. We really may be seeing this company go bankrupt right before our eyes in real time. And if you thought the boycott was bad, Anheuser-Busch just got hit with even more bad news. That's right. This wokeness is coming to bite them. It's coming back to bite them twice as hard. You're not going to want to miss this. But first, gang, while this backlash against all this woke nonsense is certainly bad news for liberals, it's great news for gold. As more and more nations around the world are going back to the gold standard, now is the time for patriots to return to the timeless value of gold and silver for this rising new conservative age. And that's where our good friends over at Goldco come in. Click on that link below and learn the 3 simple steps you can take right now to protect your savings with gold and silver. In fact, Goldco are patriots just like us, and they're offering up to $10,000 in free silver while supplies last. So don't wait. Click on that link below right now or visit my special website, turleytalkslikesgold.com. As if things couldn't get worse for Anheuser Busch, now they're getting hit with a lawsuit alleging that the company engages in racist hiring practices. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. America First Legal announced that they are filing a lawsuit against the company alleging racial discrimination in their hiring. The lawsuit claims that under the cloak of equity, woke companies like Anheuser Busch proudly discriminate based on race, color, national origin, and sex in their employment practices. Now, this is, of course, an outworking of widespread concerns that liberal affirmative action and equity practices engage in reverse discrimination, right? Asians in particular have been concerned about this, particularly in relation to college acceptance standards. So ironically, this woke trans campaign is in effect coming back to bite Bud Light in more ways than one. Not only are they having this consumer backlash against their wokeness, now they're seeing a legal backlash. And now with this commercial and consumer boycott, how are they going to possibly argue that they're not enacting woke-inspired equity policies? The AFL lawsuit claims that Anheuser-Busch's Leadership Accelerator program exists to help historically underrepresented groups, and as such, it explicitly excludes whites and Asian Americans from hiring considerations based solely on the color of their skin. So things have clearly gone from bad to worse for Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. We'll certainly keep an eye on how things develop here, but I mean, there's no question, I think, at least in any rational mind at this point, this marketing campaign was an abject disaster. Consumers less likely to buy outnumber those more likely to buy by a factor of 2 to 1. This was a disaster. And as Bud Light hemorrhages customers, the question is simple. Will this boycott ultimately result in their bankruptcy? Only time will tell. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on what's called the Project 2025 plan and their strategy to dismantle the deep state under a new conservative president once and for all. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on that link and I'll see you over there. God bless.